Hey everybody, what is going on? Hexlex here. I got another Master Duel video for you. Coming at you with some more pure Mitsurugi games. These are going to be replays from some of my off-screen games that I played. When it comes to just ranked laddering in my own time, this has definitely become my go-to deck here, pure Mitsurugi. I just love playing it so much. Feels really good going first or second and into various hand traps. Duel Mockbird, like my opponent has here, is very devastating. However, I'm actually not that worried about it here because I do have the Murakumo, and I already have the Great Purification. My opponent's going to activate Saronir during the end phase. I'm going to chain Murakumo and make them discard if they want to resolve it, though, and they actually choose to let it get negated, which is also totally fine with me. Our opponent's going to end up being on-branded, and the thing is, I actually have everything I need to counter my opponent right here. They're going to begin with Aliber, and I'm going to chain my Murakumo. They're going to discard another copy of Aliber, so I know they have Saronir, Branded Fusion, and 2 unknown cards in hand. When they go to activate the Branded Fusion, we're going to chain the Great Purification in order to negate it. Now, they have Saronir plus just the other 2 unknown cards. We're going to activate the Murakumo, chaining Mirror. And I really thought they were going to use Saronir there, was ready to use my Ghost Spell to negate it, but they actually don't chain it. So we get to add the Habakiri back to hand, and then revive the Murakumo. Now Murakumo gets to activate, popping the Aliber, and my opponent's going to concede. So I guess they just didn't have another extender. I don't know why they didn't try to activate Saronir there, but I'll definitely take it regardless. Alright, here is my next game. Opening with Great Purification yet again. I actually really like opening Great Purification, as you saw for the last duel, just in case they do have Droll and Lockbird. Here they don't have Droll, but they are going to fire off the Molcharmi Perulia. Thankfully, of course, the Habakiri does summon from deck. I will have to summon from hand at some point. It's going to probably end up being the Futsuno Mitama here. But we're going to begin by summoning from deck. They're going to chain the Fuulos, so they are going to end up getting not just one, but a couple of draws. However, that's going to end them with 5 cards in hand, and not any more than they would normally have. Although, as you can see here, I'm actually using the Futsuno Mitama from hand as a material, and by doing so, I can actually try to avoid giving them 2 draws and just the 1 here. So that's 1 draw off the Fuulos for the Ritual Summon from deck, but now I can summon the Futsuno Mitama from my graveyard with the Mitsurugi Mirror. We'll use the Murakumo effect, we get to add the Magatama, and I already searched prayers and opened Great Purification, so I'll just set all 3 and pass. I don't get to end on IP, but I deny them a draw here as well. Here they're going to end up using Fallen and the Virtuous, targeting the Futsuno Mitama. I'm going to chain Murakumo, make them discard in order to use that. If you're wondering when to use Murakumo, it's generally better to use it sooner rather than later, but it is also a little bit situationally dependent. Here they're going to use Illusion Gate to try to board break my Murakumo and make my, my Great Purification and Magatama, not live anymore. But we can negate the Illusion Gate with the Ghost Spell because it revives a monster from the graveyard. They'll summon Lucina. I'm going to use Magatama, tributing the Murakumo in order to pop it. Then I get to revive the Murakumo, and I still have not only my prayers to revive and get the board wipe, but also my Great Purification for the Omni Negate. Their last card ends up being a second Tenia, which I can simply use the Murakumo in order to revive off the prayers after tributing, and then we get to board wipe because I did not, of course, activate the effect earlier. Now, I did revive off of Murakumo's own effect earlier, so we did have to use the Great Purification, prayers effect in order to revive from the graveyard, the Murakumo there. Alright, this time we are going second, but thankfully we have both Fuulos and Ash Blossom, as well as Fallen and the Virtuous. Certainly don't care if they Fua me. Swordsoul is going to normal summon Moye, reveal another Moye, and I'll definitely chain the Fuulos to that. Now, Ash Blossom against Swordsoul doesn't have a ton of great targets because, of course, they chain block the Shenging with the Qi Xiao. Is that the level 8's called? What if the level 8 is? They tend to chain block it with the Moye. Here, however, they're going to go for Ecclesia and the Dark Dragon. So I'll let them get the draw. I don't want to Ash Blossom that, but they don't activate Ecclesia's effect, which is perfectly fine with me. It means I can just fall in the Virtuous it on the draw phase before I go to my main phase. Then I'm going to normal summon Saji. They're going to chain Fallen and the Virtuous, which is totally fine. That really does not matter at all. Kasagi can just add the Ritual. It definitely does not need to stay on board, especially when I already have the Murakumo in hand. They're going to chain Fuelos, but I am summoning from hand here. All the same, I am going to Ash Blossom, just because I don't want to give them any extra draws and chance them drawing into a hand trap that could mess me up here. And yeah, they're not even going to wait for me to assemble lethal on board. They're just going to concede, which of course is totally fine with me. All right. Got our next duel, and here we are opening almost the exact same hand, except most notably, we don't have a starter here. So they're going to draw phase Perulia. Of course, I'm going to let that resolve, because I'm not going to make plays here anyway. I'm just going to set Fallen to the Virtuous and pass. I think it's worth setting, even though we do have Fuelos in hand, because it's really easy to use Fallen to the Virtuous and then Fuelos later, which is what we're about to do here. They're going to normal summon the Lollipo Yummy. I'll pop it right away, and then they actually summon Regina from hand. I was not expecting it to be Elf Note Yummy, but I can simply chain the Fuelos to the Regina. You'll notice I chained Fuelos and not Ash Blossom. It's because I really need to find a starter here. I need something to be able to make plays on the follow-up turn, and sure enough, we do find the Lamia off the Fuelos. They're going to summon Fortuna, place Rhapsidia, and then immediately move to battle phase. Totally fine with me because they don't have anywhere near lethal on board. They're going to use Rhapsidia to revive the Elf Note Power Patron and then bump it up to level 4. That way they can Secret Summon 4, level 10, making the Baron de Fleur. Now they're going to go for the Elf Note Power Patron search. I will Ash Blossom it because I don't want them to get like Tinia and be able to hand rip here. And they do let the Ash Blossom resolve, which I did expect. All right, now end phase, I'm going to activate Albion. I was actually pretty surprised when they activated the Baron de Fleur here. I guess they figured that I was just going to pop the Baron de Fleur anyway, and now because they negated, they can go standby phase Baron de Fleur's effect in order to revive the Regina in the center main monster zone. Now she can pull out Tenia, and they get the hand rip anyway. Here they're going to rip the pre-prep that I top decked, which is kind of annoying, but not the end of the world, because we not only have the Lamia, but also the Ritual now. We're going to Lamia for Habakiri. They're going to chain Maxi. At this point, I'm pretty committed to just going for the OTK and playing through this Maxi here. Habakiri summons Saji and then tributes it. They're going to chain Rhapsidia, which is totally fine. I really don't care about this at all, because obviously I don't have any effects on the field that are really worth negating anyway. We get to add the Mirror. We're going to start with Mitsurugi Ritual. We're going to dump Kusanagi plus Aramasa, and now we get to summon out the Murakumo in our hand. This is why having 2 Murakumo in a pure Mitsurugi deck is really, really handy. It's just really nice to have this card in your hand for so many different openings, right? Like, yeah, it's not a starter or even an extender, but if you open any ritual spell, it becomes good. If you open, like, pretty much literally any of the level 4 monsters, it becomes good. Except Kusanagi, you would still need a ritual spell there, but... Alright, here we're going to use Ritual yet again. This time we're going to send the Murakumo to summon out the Futsu no Mitama. Now we get to revive the Murakumo, adding prayers along the way. I'm really hoping they don't have any like hand traps here or anything. Nibiru could still be pretty devastating potentially. Although here, if they do Nibiru, we get to revive both Futsu no Mitama and Habakiri and get 2 searches. So there is that much, but we're going to move to battle phase and just get to swing in for lethal all the same. So no need to worry about them having the Nibiru. And there we go. The 3 ritual spells by themselves, or sorry, ritual monsters by themselves are 7,600 attack points. So you do need one other monster, and here we had the Lamia, of course. Okay, let's go into our next duel. Hopefully this hand looks a little bit better than that last one, which was super dead. And here we do end up opening with the pre-prep, as well as called by, so even if they Ash Blossom or Droll, we should be good. Gotta find Habakiri and Mirror, of course. Excuse me. Alright, Saji for Ritual. Ritual gets to activate. We're gonna summon out the Habakiri. Pretty standard Mitsurugi line here. Always really nice to open the Mirror, or to open the pre-prep to search Mirror, because then you don't have to search it off of the Habakiri here. Alright, Aramasa finds Murakumo, and then Kusanagi, of course, is going to add back the Ritual. Now Ritual gets to activate. We're going to tribute the Habakiri. If you didn't open pre-prep and you just opened Habakiri, then you would search Mirror here. You do need the other Ritual spell to be able to continue your full combo line, but because we already have the Mirror, we can just grab Great Purification. Alright, Mirror tributes Futsu no Mitama. Now we can summon the Murakumo from hand. And then we get to activate the Futsu no Mitama in order to add prayers. Now, I don't always go for this, but here I'm going to activate prayers on turn 1 because I can tribute the Murakumo, add a Wosu for follow-up, but more importantly, I get to not only revive Saji, but also Murakumo gets to revive and search. And as a bonus, we get to shuffle back the Mirror here as well. But now Murakumo can add the Magatama. So now I can still board wipe if I need to during the opponent's turn using Magatama in order to tribute Murakumo. And not only that, I can even normal summon the Fuelos, overlay into Dugaris to draw 2 and then discard 1. And then I can discard the extra Fuelos, making use of both of the ones that I opened going first here, trading them for more hand traps and disruption cards. Now we can link into IP using Habakiri plus the Dugaris. I'll set 4, including a Bluff pre-prep. They actually have a Raw Sphere mode. They're going to tribute my whole board, but they picked the wrong deck to open Sphere mode against because not only do I get to revive both Murakumo and Futsu no Mitama, but of course I'll get a couple of searches along the way. Now I still have my Omni Negate, my Murakumo Negate live as well, and I can even revive Murakumo still off the Futsu no Mitama if I tribute it for something like the Magatama. So that is probably one of the only times, maybe even the only time at all playing Master Duel, where my opponent summoned Raw Sphere mode against me and then immediately conceded after doing so. So very, very satisfying game there. Anyway, for this one, we're going to begin with pre-prep. It's going to add both Mirror and Habakiri, and then we're going to do some pretty standard Mitsurugi lines. Habakiri for Saji. I'm actually going to Saji for the Great Purification here. If I already have Ritual, and especially Ritual plus Mirror in my opening hand, I really like going for Great Purification next off the Saji, because then if they have Joel and Lockbird, I not only have the Murakumo access through Ritual, but then I also still have the Great Purification, so I have multiple negates and the board wipe. But here they don't have anything, so we just get to pop off and go pretty much just full combo here. Same order as we did it last time. We're going to summon the Futsu no Mitama from deck. Then Habakiri is going to add prayers. If you didn't already have Great Purification, you would add it there. Now we can go Ritual. Ritual gets to summon out the Murakumo now, tributing the Futsu no Mitama. Now Futsu no Mitama will get to revive. We'll get to add the Magatama here. Now this time, I'm not going to use the prayers. I'm just going to normal summon Fuelos and then link into IP. Not going to go for Dugaris here through the prayers, because I already have access to all 3 of my Mitsurugi spell and trap cards anyway, so that is the quick play spells and trap cards, I should say. Alright, they're going to begin with Fenrir, so I can not only special summon off the Futsu no Mitama, but I'm also going to tribute it for the Magatama on the same chain link. It is important that we do it on the same chain link here, because that's going to allow us to pop the Fenrir before it has a chance to banish any of our cards. Alright, now we get to not only revive the Futsu no Mitama, but then Mirror is going to resolve here as well. We get to add Wosu for follow-up, and then Futsu no Mitama revives. They're going to activate Monadium Imaginings, revealing Meek, drawing 2 and putting 1 back, summoning the Kashtira Unicorn. I don't really care about negating Unicorn, the extra deck rip, nor the search for birth. Neither really matters here at all. We're going to revive Saji off the Futsu no Mitama and then add a Ritual for follow-up. They're going to banish, I think it was, what was it? Shoot, I'm trying to remember. It wasn't Little Knight. That was the thing I was really surprised. I thought I was going to have to go IP for Dynamundo. But they did not banish Little Knight here, which was very, very fine with me. Now they're going to activate the Kashtira Birth. I'm going to use the Ghost spell in hand to negate that. They're going to go the Field spell for Reichheart for Arrival. And because Arrival revives from the graveyard specifically, I'm now going to go IP plus Saji into SP, and now I can banish the Scareclaw Reichheart. So now not only is that Arrival useless, but now they can't go into the Scareclaw Lightheart. They're going to special summon the Kashtira Arise Heart, and honestly, as soon as I revive even just an Aramasa off the Futsunomi Tama, they concede. Probably knowing that it was pretty inevitable I was going to win at that point. Still had the Murakumo board wipe, still had the Great Purification Omni Negate, so we were more than good to go. I haven't even used Murakumo Negate up to that point in the duel, which was also kind of insane. Okay, so here's the deck list. It's the same from last season, but I've been thinking about a couple of changes I might want to make. One is Dimension Shifter. I can't believe I didn't think about it before, but pure Mitsurugi plays extremely well into D-Shifter, so there's kind of no reason not to play it here. I could even see myself dropping the Triple Tactics talent for it. I think that's what I would just do. Now, another hand trap that I forgot about that could be played in pure Mitsurugi is Dominus Impulse. It is really solid, but this one, I'm actually not 100% sure if I would play off rip the same way I would Shifter, because I would need to either go above 40 cards, which for me in pure Mitsurugi, I don't think is really an option, which really that means I'd have to cut more into my off engine. I kind of thought about going down to 2 Ghost Spell and 2 Fallen and Virtuous, and then playing 2 Dominus Impulse. The other option is to cut all 3 Fallen and Virtuous, play 3 Dominus Impulse, and then I would replace Albion and Ecclesia in the extra deck with Gorgon of Xylophonia, and then another rank 4 like Light Dragon Ignister or Tornado Dragon, something like that. But I don't know if that's actually better. I really like Fallen and the Virtuous. I don't actually know if it's better than Dominus Impulse or not. I think I would be more inclined to do the 2-2-2 ratio I just mentioned earlier. That is to say, I would cut the 3rd Ghost Spell and the 3rd Fallen and Virtuous and put into Dominus Impulse. And then I would still probably take out Triple Tactics talent for D-Shifter. I think next time I play pure Mitsurugi, that's probably the changes I'm going to make moving forward. But yeah, that's pretty much everything I have to say about the list, I think, here. So thank you, as always, for checking out the games. I really appreciate your support, and it really does go a long way watching towards the end of the video like this, not just for me, but for any smaller YouTube channel especially. But let's go do it for now. So let's move on to the outro. That way we can thank our YouTube members and Patreon subscribers. Hey everybody, Hexlex here. Thank you so very much for watching all the way to the very end of the video, which by the way is one of the best ways to support the channel. Speaking of supporting the channel, take a look at the names on screen. These are folks who have been so generous as to either join as a YouTube member or subscribe over on patreon.com/Hexlex to support. There's also perks for doing so. If you would like to see YouTube videos early, as well as some exclusive videos that get uploaded to YouTube, but for one reason or another I decide not to publish, definitely go ahead and hit that join button to see content early, as well as some exclusive content. If you're looking for more exclusive content, over on patreon.com, I upload exclusive videos that are not posted on YouTube just about every single day. Whether you choose to subscribe over on Patreon, join as a YouTube member, or simply continue to watch, your support is greatly appreciated. Thank you so very much. But for now, this is Hexlex. I am signing out, and I hope that you have a fantastic day.